You're listening to The Waste Less Life, a podcast for the planet.
I'm Macy.
And I'm Blayk.
And we're here to remind you that you don't have to be completely wasteless to waste less. Everyone has what it takes to help the planet. So, on this podcast, we'll give you easy, everyday tips on how you can reduce your environmental footprint, throw away less, and do your part to make the world a better place for everyone.
We know not everyone can change their whole life to be a dedicated environmentalist, but we think that if we all made a few small efforts, our planet would thank us. Today, we've got a special guest. I'm joined by my wife, Macy. Hi, Macy, and welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's going to be so much fun. And today we're going to be talking about laundry waste. And Macy and I have been working for the past few years to kind of fix our laundry routine, I guess, or make it as sustainable, environmentally friendly as possible. And so we're going to tell you some of the things that we do to have a lower waste laundry routine and some other tips that maybe you can incorporate to clean your clothes without trashing the planet. So the first part of laundry that we'll talk about is detergent because, well, pretty much everybody who's doing laundry has to have some form of soap or detergent. It's a very crucial part in cleaning your clothes. And there's a lot of drawbacks in the main detergents that we see like at the supermarket or at the store or whatever. Most of those are liquid laundry detergents that come in plastic containers. So those plastic containers are difficult to recycle. Some of them aren't even recyclable in the first place. And they're hard to recycle because to put them into your recycling, you have to first clean them out so that they don't contaminate other plastics in the recycling process down the road. So to get those clean is really difficult because the soap just bubbles forever. So it's very difficult to clean them, very difficult to recycle them. And the issue with this is that it's a recurring form of waste. Like you're probably buying a new laundry detergent every month or so. And so it's something that you're just constantly putting into a landfill if you're going with these plastic options.
Not to mention, most detergents also contain harsh chemicals and fragrances that could lead to skin irritation or other types of reactions that maybe your body's not used to.
Those chemicals also are going to end up in our water system. So if you don't know what kinds of harsh chemicals are in your laundry detergent, well, you're sending them through the whole kind of water system. They're going to end up in rivers and oceans. And so all of those chemicals are going somewhere after they clean your clothes. But there are lots of alternatives. Macy and I have experimented with a bunch of these alternatives, and we've found one that we like, but we'll tell you about some of the other ones that we've tried or that we're familiar with as well. So for a while, we tried just boxed powder. Do you remember when we did that? We would buy just the boxed powder like it.
Yeah, it was the same laundry detergent that we were using, just in the powder form. We thought, well, this comes in a cardboard box, so when it's finished, it'll be easy to recycle and it'll be great. And the idea was good, but when we started using it, we found that because with the powder detergent, you had to sprinkle it on top of your clothes. You didn't just put it in the little slot for your liquid detergent. During the washing process, sometimes the detergent would get clumped up in our clothing. And so we wouldn't even notice it until we're done with our laundry. It's all dry. And then we see these just like white spots on our dark clothing.
Now, I will say that's when we lived in an apartment. And so we were using their old washer. So maybe that's, our washer was part of the problem. Maybe if you had a nicer washer or something, it could work better with the powder. We also tried sometimes, we would fill or at least I did this. I would wait until the clothes were kind of already submerged in water, and then I would try to mix it in so that it was dissolving in the water instead of sitting on the clothes first. That helped a little bit, but try it out. Maybe it works better with your washer, or maybe you know how to use powdered washing detergent better than us.
Well, we also even tried making our laundry detergent, and we did
that for a long time.
We did it for a really long time. We went on Pinterest, which I love, and we found a really easy ingredient list that only had, 3 or so
it was
ingredients?
hot water, salt.
It was baking soda.
Oh, yeah, baking soda. That was the other thing.
And then essential oils.
Yeah, a few drops of...
Oh, and Castile soap.
Oh, yeah, and Castile soap. That was the soap part.
So there are super simple ingredients that are also not super harmful for your body. Yeah. So it was a really light, mild detergent. And I liked it, but it was a hassle having to make it. And I felt like we were probably using more than we needed to. It was hard to really tell how much we needed for each cycle. And then, not to mention, I really like smells, and it wasn't a very overpowering scent. So it didn't really keep our clothes smelling good. Now, it wasn't that our clothes stunk. They were clean. But I like that fragrant after washing your clothes and you pull them out of the dryer and they smell super good.
Yeah, it didn't add much of a scent. But yeah, that was good. It worked well when we were making it ourselves. It was just like you said, we got close to the end of the laundry. We're like, oh no, I don't want to make it right now. Or like we didn't have time to make it, and so we
didn't have the ingredients. It's like, oh no, we're out of baking soda.
Yeah.
Dang
So
it.
I think there was like 1 or 2 times where we didn't have time to make it, but we had to do laundry, so we would like get a small thing of laundry detergent because we needed to. And so we just stopped because we found a better solution. Before we tell you about that solution, we'll talk about a few that we've just kind of seen online and read a little bit about, but we haven't tried them because we're happy with what we do now, so we haven't needed to. But one is a company called True Earth makes these laundry strips, and they're just these sort of little strips that come in paper. They come in compostable packaging, and you just like rip off one of the strips and drop it in with your laundry. I guess it's maybe sort of like a powder, but the strip itself has the soap and everything inside, and it just dissolves with the wash. And I've heard good things about that. Just ships to you in a little paper thing, which you can compost. If you have compost, you could recycle it. If you don't,
yeah, it's pretty much completely waste-free. I mean, when it comes in, you can recycle, and then the laundry detergent itself dissolves in your laundry. So that's really awesome. There's also drops.
Drops with 2 P's.
Yes, the laundry pods, which, yes, we all know about laundry pods. You can buy them at the store, and those are, I think, a pretty good alternative to the liquid laundry detergent, but it does come in plastic, which it's a plastic container though, so you could repurpose that container, but again, like you said, you're probably going to be buying one
you buy one a month.
Yeah, so that's going to be a lot.
Storing all your possessions in a Tide Pod box.
And I think you might be able to recycle them, but this option, it comes in just a box, right?
Yeah, it's compostable. Yep, it comes in. I read on their website it comes in compostable packaging, so I'm sure, just like a paper box. And it's this kind of the pod itself is made of this kind of water soluble thing that just dissolves with the water, and so that's not producing any waste. It's not gonna send plastic down your pipes or whatever.
Right. It also has plant-based ingredients. So, better ingredients for your skin and the environment when you're washing your laundry. I mean, all of that water, soapy water, it's going somewhere, right? So, if you're using better ingredients, it's going to be better for the environment.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not sending crazy chemicals into the lakes and rivers and oceans. But Macy and I are very lucky because we were able to find a store that really works for us and we think is a pretty good environmental option. So we have this store where we live called Buff City Soaps, and that's where we get our like regular soaps too, but we'll get to that later. But that's where we get our laundry detergent. So they have this really awesome process where they make this kind of powdered laundry detergent that they do put in a plastic container, but you bring the plastic container back every time. So when we run out, we just stop by and, we bring the empty plastic container, and you actually get like $1 off the laundry detergent if you bring the container back, which is a great incentive. More companies should do that. Like if you're, putting forth the effort, they don't have to use a new container. They're actually saving some money, and it can be a better incentive to get people to live more sustainably. So anyway, sorry for the tangent, but I love places that do that little discount if you do something responsible. But yeah, we bring it back and they just refill it with soap. And for us, it really works great. We mentioned that we had some trouble with the other powders that we tried. Those were just like whatever powder from the store.
Tide.
Yeah, just like Tide, whatever. But this one, we've not had any problems. It smells great. It works great. And we've not had that issue where we like saw the, residue of powder on our clothes after they come out.
Yeah, for sure. It also is free of harsh chemicals, detergents, and preservatives. You can go online and they have their ingredient list, and it's all natural ingredients. Like I think they use 100% coconut oil, and then they use essential oils for scents. They use a washing powder, and so it's going to be easier on your skin. They also have a scent-free option. So if you are someone who is a little bit more sensitive to fragrances, you do have that option as well. Let me tell you, it smells so good. After your clothes are done in the washer and then you throw them in the dryer, it just, it really smells up your whole house, and it's just so pleasant. What I really love is because it is a refill program, you can switch out your scents each time you go back. Like if you try their fresh cotton and you really like it, but you want to try something else, you have that option because It's a refill program. So I love Buff City. You can go online. You can order all of that stuff. They are a pretty popular company. I know in Arkansas, they had the one in Little Rock, North Little Rock, Conway. I think there's one maybe in Fayetteville.
I didn't know there were that many.
Yeah, they are pretty popular. So you've probably heard of Buff City. If not, you can go on their website. You can order directly online. I don't know how that works with refill programs, but you could always find that out.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, you've got lots of options. If you're currently using, just liquid detergent in a plastic thing and you want to be a little bit better toward the environment, if you want to do something a little more sustainable, that's lots of options. You can try the powder from the store. You can try the strips, the drops pods.
Making your own.
Making your own, yeah, do that. Or try, Buff City or some other place like that. So lots of options. You can definitely find something that's a little bit more sustainable. Another recurring form of waste that is associated with laundry are dryer sheets. This is something that people buy over and over because they use one, or I've seen some people who will use even more than one in there.
Yeah, for each load.
Yeah, for every load. And dryer sheets are something that I don't know if we've ever bought since we've been married. No, we probably bought them when we were first married.
We definitely had a really small box in the apartment.
Oh, yes,
when we moved. But after that, we soon switched over.
Yeah, so we use these dryer balls. You've probably seen them before. I've seen them, like regular supermarkets will sell these. You can buy these anywhere. But you can also buy them from whatever your favorite zero waste store is. But they're just these like cotton kind of...
They're wool.
Oh, sorry,
wool balls.
They're just these wool balls that you just throw in with your clothes, and they're supposed to like reduce the drying time, so they kind of help rough everything up and move everything around, which helps, move the clothes around and get them dry faster. They reduce wrinkles. They reduce the static clean.
It pretty much does everything that your dryer sheet's going to do, but it's reusable. I think...
We've never bought new ones. We've had them forever. I don't even know.
I think it says that you need to replace dryer balls every 2 to 4 years.
Yeah.
So
we've had ours for a long time.
Yeah, you definitely get to keep them around a lot longer. Back to Buff City real quick. They do sell them there, and you can also get them scented. Ooh. So that's really awesome. I love my smells. I love my clothes to smell really good. But you could also, if you have your dryer balls that you got from the supermarket and you have some essential oils, you can do your own scenting at home.
Ooh,
and
DIY.
Yes, save money.
Live better.
Right. But the dryer balls are really awesome. It's pretty much the same thing as your standard dryer sheet, but reusable.
Yeah.
So if you haven't switched over to that, that is such an easy way to save money for one, because you're not you're not buying your laundry sheets every month, but also it's just a good way to create less waste.
Yeah, I don't even really know exactly what dryer sheets do, but I did use dryer sheets for a while before, we discovered this, and I've not noticed any oh gosh, I remember the dryer sheets did this. I don't know, I don't miss them at all. Whatever dryer sheets did, these seem to do just as well.
That's the biggest thing. The dryer sheets reduce your static. It can also soften up your clothes a little bit, because I do think the dryer sheets you get at just your normal market, I think they have some type of fabric softener on there. So I think it does also soften your clothes. But the biggest thing for me is the static. If you don't have your dryer sheets or your dryer balls in there while your clothes are drying, you're going to pull them out and you see electricity everywhere.
But the dryer balls fix that just as much as the dryer sheets.
Yes.
So, okay, so there you go. If you're using dryer sheets, don't. Stop throwing stuff away. Stop throwing your money away. And get some dryer balls. Darn it. All right, the last kind of area of wasting less when it comes to laundry is wasting less energy. This is maybe one that you haven't thought of. It's one that's easy to slip under my radar, at least, because it's not something that I'm actually throwing in the trash, so I don't get to kind of see that waste happening. But there's a lot of waste that happens with our laundry routines. According to the EPA, 17% of the average home's energy bill comes from the energy needed to heat water. So if you're washing your clothes on, a hot water setting, that's contributing to a lot of the energy waste that's happening in your home. And most clothes don't need hot water. We talked about this a little bit on the clothing episode. I wash all of my clothes in cold water, and I've never had any issues. You might have some things that require it, but you can always check the tag and see. But I've never had any issues just washing all of my clothes with cold water. They seem to get just as clean. I think cold water is just as effective as hot water at washing stuff. So just do as many loads as you can with cold water. That's going to reduce your energy bill. So hello, save money. But also it's going to just reduce the energy needed, which means that there are fewer resources going into, wherever you get your electricity. There's just no need to waste money or energy heating water when cold water does just as well. So that's a way that you can really reduce some of that waste.
Yeah, definitely set your loads to cold water. And also pay attention to what your standard setting is on your washer. So some washers are a little bit smarter than others, but for our washer in particular, our normal load, normal setting, it goes ahead and sets it for 2 rinses, which, I mean, maybe if you have a really big load, you're adding extra soap, you might want to do 2 rinses just to make sure that the soap's getting out. But for your standard load, I don't see why there's any need to have 2 rinses on a cycle, especially if it's a smaller load. So set your water to cold, but also make sure that, your washer isn't outsmarting you and wanting your laundry to take even longer, because an extra rinse cycle is also going to prolong your laundry time by 20 minutes because it has to drain and then fill up and re-rinse. So it's a lot of water that's wasted, a lot of time that's wasted, a lot of energy that's wasted. So make sure you're just paying attention to what your setting is on your washer when you're doing a load.
Yeah, and when it's time to move those clothes over to the dryer, think twice, because your dryer uses a lot of energy. In fact, I was looking at a website earlier called IGS Energy, and IGS says that dryers use 10 times more energy than washers. And you don't really have to dry clothes in a dryer. All you need is a clothesline or a drying rack. You can air dry your clothes. And this isn't something that we're very good at. We usually do use our dryer, but it's something that maybe we could be working on to be better, because drying uses a ton of energy and it's really just not needed. You can put your clothes out.
It also cuts your clothing life in half, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of brands, for example, like Lululemon. Oh my goodness.
This episode is sponsored by Lululemon.
Lululemon suggests that you don't dry your leggings and your athletic wear, because it will make the material less sweat wicking, or whatever leggings you have or shirts, it might make the material less durable or whatever. But I will say there are several things that I don't dry, like my leggings. There are some shirts, for example, that I don't want to shrink. I like the way it fits. And I've noticed that over the time of drying things over and over again, they do get smaller. I'm not getting fatter, I promise. If you keep drying and drying and drying, your clothes are going to not be as good of quality. It's better to dry them maybe sometimes if you need to, but also if you have a really nice pair of shorts or a really nice top that you like, if you want to keep that top around, hang it up to dry.
There you go. Yeah. Going back to the washers, I actually thought of something while we were talking about it that I wanted to mention with washing. And this is something that I bet a lot of people don't think about, but a lot of our clothes have a lot of synthetic materials. Most of our clothes aren't 100% organic cotton or whatever. And every time we wash our clothes, a lot of those little bitty plastics and little bitty, fibers or whatever from our clothes are kind of just leaving with the water. And so what happens is a lot of these microplastics end up in our waterways just from our doing laundry. And so you can get these little filters that are, you just Google, there's a ton of brands. I just looked it up. There's a bunch of them, but you just Google microplastics washer filter, and you can get a little filter for pretty cheap that you just attach to the kind of drainage part of your washer. And anytime that water's drained, it'll catch all of those microplastics. So you're not sending little bitty pieces of plastic or little bitty pieces of, nylon or synthetic material into the waterways every time you do laundry. So that can be a way to kind of cut down on the waste with your washing as well.
Not to mention combining loads of laundry. I know there's so many people who wash all of their whites together and all of their darks and all of their lights and all of their jeans and all of their towels. I mean, let's be real. You don't really have to do that. Now,
yeah, you're wasting, not only are you wasting energy, but you're also wasting just like a lot of time. That sounds like so much work. Jeez. Yes.
But, and I'm not saying wash your beautiful clothes with your towels. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying
But you can. If you can, do it.
I'm not suggesting it. Maybe, your jeans and your towels. Those would be definitely fine to wash together.
Or your underwear. Who cares?
But, like darks and lights, if you're already washing your clothes on cold water, like we said, is better for the environment, it's going to be better for your clothes too, because cold water is going to make sure that those darks and lights aren't fading into each other like warm water will. Now, if you do buy a brand new pair of jeans or a brand new tie-dye shirt or a dark blouse, okay, you might want to wash that separately just for the first cycle. But most of the time after your clothes have been washed several times, they're not going to fade onto each other. So wash your things together unless you're doing a bleach cycle. Okay, fine. Don't bleach your whites with your colored clothes. But you know what I mean. Go ahead and throw all of your clothes together, the ones that can be put together, because it's a little silly to separate everything by color, especially if you're using cold water. And then for our last little point, rewear your clothes. You don't have to wash a shirt every time you wear it. You don't have to wash your jeans every time you wear them.
Especially if you work from home. Nobody smells me through a webcam.
Yeah, for sure. Or, if I shower, I throw on clothes, I've not had a super productive day, those clothes are not going to be dirty. Now, if you do spill something on yourself, okay, you're going to have to wash it. But even, this might be a little gross to some people, but, even my workout clothes, I wear them 2 times before I wash them. I literally just sweat in them, and then I'm going to sweat in them again. So I will say, unless I've just really gone at it and my clothes are gross, I'm probably going to wear those leggings 2 times before I wash them.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit on the clothing episode too, because this also will extend the life of your clothes. If you're washing them less and you're drying them less, that's just going to make them last that much longer. So you're also going to, produce less clothing waste at the same time that you're saving energy and all of that. All right, well, Macy, we've talked about a lot. I think we've given the people all kinds of laundry tips. But before we go, we like to do 2 quick tips that if they get nothing else from this podcast, our listeners will have at least something that they can be working on right now to reduce their environmental footprint. So if nobody listened to anything that you said this whole time, but they're listening now, what would you tell them you would want them to do to reduce their laundry waste?
Switch over to dryer balls. It is the easiest thing to do. It literally serves the same purpose as dryer sheets. You save money, you're saving the resources, and it's so simple. It's easy. And I don't even think they're that expensive. And you get to keep them for 2 to 4 years. Yeah. Come on, let's do it.
Okay, I'm going to go with, I'm actually wrestling with a couple of them. First, I was going to say try a new laundry detergent, because I think that's really easy to do. Just try something new.
It's not easy.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with something else, because if you're already buying dryer balls to do Macy's tips, maybe you don't want to buy something else. So I'm going to give you a free tip that you can implement without having to buy or to do anything new, and that will be to try air drying some clothes. So even if it's not all of your clothes, maybe the next time you do a load of laundry, pick out an outfit or a few shirts or one of each types of article of clothing and just try to air dry them. See what happens. See if it works out the way you expected, or it was easier than you thought. Maybe you'll air dry a few things and realize, oh, I could be doing this. This was no problem. The clothes turned out great, and it was really easy, and they dried faster than I thought they would. So that's my tip, is to just try air drying something this week or the next time you do laundry. This episode of The Waste Less Life is plastic-free and infinitely reusable, so give it another listen, guilt-free.
Or recycle this episode by sharing it online or with a friend you think would enjoy it.
And follow us on Instagram at WastelessPodcast. I want to thank Macy so much for making her podcast debut on The Waste Less Life. I'm really glad that you got to join me and talk about laundry with me.
Well, thank you for having me. It was super fun.
Cool. Thanks for listening, everybody, and we appreciate all of your support.